2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Morley or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Hi, everybody. Today, we're very pleased to announce that it was the David Crofty Show.
The voice of F1 himself, Nat, was live here in the studio.
And he tells a great story. He's just a genuine bloke. So we talk about F1, obviously, because he is the voice of F1. But he's just has lived a life. He's an amazing storyteller.
The Brad Pitt toilet story?
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Also,
You matched him with the toilet story, Ross. How
Yeah.
fantastic.
I know. And how good when he gives you some sage advice about broadcasting with a hangover, Shaun. And why it's a bad idea.
He was very good. I enjoyed every bit of it. Earlier on, though, we caught up with Bianca Chatfield. We talked a little bit about footy and netball, which was nice.
Yeah, she's an interesting chat as well. Plus, Shaun had an altercation with an old lady. He disappointed an old lady, so I have to say, didn't you?
Not for the first time.
It's Nathan, Nat and Shaun on Nova 937.
It's 6:04. David and Shaun morning, everybody. Ross is here too.
Hello.
Morning, Ross.
Morning.
Hello, Natalie.
Hello, Shaun.
I started the day on a positive by wearing the famous blue and white striped shorts to get everybody up and about.
The old he wears short shorts.
Check him out from the photo with the Prime Minister on our socials. They're the shorts that Shaun's legs are eating.
The shorts that could either win or cost the Prime Minister the election. It will hinge on that.
Yeah, nobody really noticed it when I had that photo with the PM.
No comments about it on the
not at
socials at all.
Speaking of eating, I did learn finally that to eat my cornflakes around Natalie, Shaun, I have to wait for them to be soggy so there's no crunch when I chew them.
You only just learnt that.
Yeah.
I know, but soggy cornflakes.
Yeah, I know,
Soggy
but
Weet Bix.
I'd rather soggy cornflakes or Weet Bix than an angry gnat.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Our boss is buying us breakfast today. And
Am I included?
Yeah, you've already eaten, so we probably won't get you anything.
I mean, soggy cornflakes don't take that much room up, and I can always fit in more free food, which I don't usually
All the
food.
squats
Very
we're doing
important.
too, you know.
Yeah.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, and I was the only one that wore green.
You were fantastic on that, Nat. I was reading an article
Really
that
committed.
apparently 3 million litres of Guinness was drank in WA.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot.
I thought, is this a mistake? Like 3 million litres.
That's a lot on a Monday. Yesterday I went into my little local pharmacy and there's sort of these stairs that you walk down, and I was standing at the top of the stairs and there was a guy coming up and he stopped and he goes, "Are you Irish?" And he was Irish, right?
Because you're wearing green.
Because I was wearing green, and I went, "Oh, no, but I'm just wearing it because it's St. Patrick's Day in support of it." He's like, "I don't understand. Everybody's wearing green and they're not Irish, and I can't." And he just could not get his head around that a non-Irish person would embrace St. Patrick's Day. And I'm like, I just wore green. It's not like I'm been on the Guinness since 7:30.
Really? I can't believe that.
He was mystified at why everybody here was really getting into it.
What was your response?
I just said, if I go back far enough, I've got Irish heritage.
I'm sure we all have.
If you dig
Well, I
deep
do.
enough, you know.
Yeah.
I can't believe he was mystified.
I know,
because-
he just couldn't understand it. And the lady in the pharmacy, I said, I freaked that guy out because I'm wearing green. And she said, "Oh, yeah, I freaked him out because my name's Patricia, but I'm not Irish," because she's wearing a badge. And he's going, "Are you Irish?" No.
Do you reckon he's just going around everywhere and having the
clutching
same
straws.
conversations?
I mean, maybe just one day a year he gets to ask everybody if they're Irish. I don't know. I should have asked him what medication he was picking up from the pharmacy. But I don't know. Bless his little heart. So happy St. Paddy's Day to all who celebrated, even if you weren't Irish. But don't talk to that guy because it confuses him.
They confuse
a
him.
lot.
Everyone gets involved in St. Pat. Well,
Yeah.
in my household, I mentioned it yesterday, that a lot of people used to get involved in St. Paddy's Day, and I always used to drive them and or pick them up.
Yes, yeah.
But it's a great way to celebrate because the Irish is such good fun.
Exactly. Who doesn't love a little bit of crack, Shaun?
Yeah.
As we say.
Oh, hello.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Are you wearing the same outfit as yesterday? Have you been home? Or are you just getting the most out of the new
No, the
jacket?
new jacket.
The new jacket, well, it was kind of expenny, so I feel like girl math. you
Cost
get
per
more-
wear.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I had this conversation with my auntie yesterday.
Yeah.
So our cousin has just come back from Japan, and she was telling me that Jack, he walked in with this jacket and said, "Grandma, check this out.
Yes.
How much do you reckon this costs?" And she just threw out a number of $500 just for the sake of saying something
Yes.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, it was $1,000."
Oh,
And he said, but he won't take. Clearly he's not
They're
going
not
to
gonna
take
take
it
it
off.
off.
But
Yeah.
$1,000.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, she said it had some denim stuff going on and a pattern on it, and like maybe a fur collar.
it's a
Must have been
statement
vintage
jacket.
or
It's a
something.
statement jacket.
But that's going to be hard to get your cost per wear if it's a statement
He's going to have
jacket.
to wear it
you know.
to bed.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing with yours?
Yeah.
Is that how much yours cost?
Oh, no, nowhere near that much. I'm thinking more like 200 for this one.
Okay.
But yeah,
Oh,
that's expensive for me.
I don't think I've got anything. I mean, take away a suit that I got for free
Yes.
from Channel 9 back in the day, and maybe that one I got stitched up when I bought to go to the races.
Yes,
one time.
yes.
Anyway, take that aside. I don't think I buy anything over the two t-shirts for $50 type of scenario.
Sean, we know.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Yesterday, most Mondays actually, I try to do the food shopping, just nail it in one
Yeah,
foul
sure.
swoop. And yesterday I thought I'll zip over to Aldi, which is in South Fremantle, closest
Oh,
one
yeah,
to
I
us
know the
now.
one, yeah.
Yeah, and Woolies is there, so I can go to both of them in one foul swoop.
Wow, okay.
You mix it
What a
up.
man.
Why would you go to two?
Oh, because, a lot of people like different brands and maybe other stuff that's not available at one from the other.
Is that what you are like?
Yes.
Okay.
When I say a lot of
Wait,
people.
a lot of people,
A
yeah.
lot of people.
So anyway, when I went into Aldi, I was loading up. I was in a frenzy and just getting all this stuff, yogurt and cheeses and,
Yes.
all kinds of stuff. And I've just loaded up. When I went
just
to the front...
remind you, you're lactose intolerant. Keep going.
I don't. It's all for kids. I don't have any of them. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nat. So when I went to the front, they've got a self-service section,
Yes.
which is kind of new for them, and also, as everybody knows who's been to Aldi, you can put your stuff on the conveyor belt thing,
Yes.
and you can get served by one person. But they only have a couple of lanes open. But I just jagged it as one person came out to change shifts. There's no one else in the line, so they open up the lane.
Yeah.
So it was perfect. I went straight to the front.
Smack. Swanned in.
Swanned in, just laid out all my stuff that went for about two metres across the conveyor belt.
Family of 6.
Yeah. And then anyway, the guy started and he swiped a couple of my first products. And anyway, this old duck comes up behind us. She's got Australia's biggest trolley because those bloody trolleys are massive.
Yes.
And she's got like 3 items in it. And she goes to the guy. He's probably scanned about 5 or 6 of my items at this stage. Excuse me. And I looked at her and she was talking to the guy.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I go first?
But no, but
No.
he'd already started.
That's not
You
fair.
can only go first if you haven't started.
He's already started. I'm at the end of the line because, in Aldi, you've got to get to the end of the line. And you've
Yes,
got your trolley and
yes.
you've got to get all your stuff
Yes,
off there as quickly as you
exactly.
can
And
because
she
they
should
don't
be
pack
asking-
it for you.
She should be asking you.
Yeah. And then he said, oh, sorry, man, we've already started. If you like, the self-service checkout is right there and you can just scan
Something
those
tells
few
me
items.
that was not
Well,
an
of course
option
you
for
can't
her.
do that. Of course you can't do that. So she just stood there in a real huff.
Furious.
Whilst I scanned another 20 minutes worth of food because that's what it was like. But I would have 100% let her in because
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I
But
don't want to
you-
hold her up.
but
But
so-
we've already underway, buddy.
What did she expect that the guy would stop? You'd pay for those few items, then let her in, and then go back
Yeah.
to doing your thing?
100%.
Is that what she thought would happen?
Would she huffed at you or at the cashier?
More so the cashier.
Okay, I thought she'd have like, Shaun McManus. I know him.
Yeah, bloody Shaun McManus standing in the way of old ladies.
Exactly.
Why would
anyway,
you
I
do
tripped
that?
her over before I left. No, I didn't. I wanted to.
Oh, you
no.
didn't? You didn't? Oh, okay. Thanks for telling us. Thanks for
Oh,
clarifying.
come on, mate.
I mean, he's
Don't be
just
like
trying
that.
to do his shopping. Don't guilt him, make him feel
Exactly.
bad.
I mean, we like to part the seas for the old folk, no doubt about it, and we should when we get the opportunity, but not on this occasion.
And in most other stories like this, it's you asking to go first, to be fair.
Sorry, old lady, I'm in a rush. You know I am?
Shaun McManus. Shaun McManus needs to be somewhere.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Ross, a proud moment for you as a father. You had talked about this the other day.
Yeah, we're talking about the kindness trophy. Ollie,
Yes.
my 5-year-old son, he's in pre-primary. Every day, one of the kids walks out of the class when all the parents went to pick him up with a giant trophy. It's like half the size of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the kindness trophy. Usually people like do things, help a friend or just something kind, hence the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how you can't think of one other thing.
Helping a friend.
Helping the teacher, perhaps.
Yeah, assisting.
Yes.
Ollie came out yesterday and he'd wanted it for a long time. He came out beaming. He had the trophy. And firstly, I was quite, I was surprised at my own reaction because I screamed. I was like, oh, yes! And then I realised how, over the top I was.
Yes. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was pumped. And
Because Ollie had a conversation with you the other day about how he hadn't won it yet. He really wanted to win it. And you said, well, you've just got to do something kind.
Yeah. And
he went, I can't.
I told him he'd win the kindness trophy at home because I wanted to make him feel good. And he's very kind.
Sure.
And so I was like, Ollie, yes. And I was like, what did you do? And he said, I don't know. And so I was like, okay. I was like, did you do something kind? He said, I don't know. And so
did the teacher just hear you whinging about it on the radio?
I don't think she did. But so I went to the teacher. I was like, go straight to the source. Yeah. So I was like, so what did he do? And she said, he was listening today. And
that's not kindness.
But there's more. She said listening. And what was the other word? She said, he was resilient. And she said a couple more words that was very generic.
Yeah,
and
yes.
None of them kind.
Shaun came into my head at this point, like everyone gets a trophy. It's his day kind of thing. And I was like, all right, I'll take that for now. I'll get him later. So when we're at home, because, they don't talk much when you try and get information out of them at 5. So when we're at dinner, my wife Bella brought up, what'd you get it for? And he started talking about it. And I said, wait a sec, I wanted to record him saying it.
Okay.
So I've got his direct words. But he starts off, he was quite annoyed we asked him a second time. So this is straight from Ollie. Why did you win the kindness trophy?
I just tackled. I didn't tackle. Jane tackled and Will tackled. No, I didn't tackle.
Yep. Anything else?
Because I was not talking over on the mat. I was just whispering.
Okay, there's
He was whispering.
a few things to decode there. He didn't tackle James, which, that's kind.
And everybody does want to tackle James.
Yeah,
right?
they do.
Absolutely right.
So, but that's a kind act.
So,
But what was James doing?
lack
Did
of tackle.
James hold the ball too long, though? Because I would have tackled him if...
Holding the ball, yeah, that kind of thing. And then, so he doesn't talk
So
on
it's
the
going to
mat.
make a terrible football player, but kind.
Not talking on the mat, but then he says whispered. He whispered on the mat.
Yeah, so he
just
did talk.
He tricked himself into winning.
He just talked softly.
Yeah.
So, but not talking on the mat, that's not kindness. That's just behaviour.
Can you not ruin his
But
trophy?
not tackling, I'll understand, tackling when he had the opportunity to tackle and he chose not to tackle.
Yeah, that's...
It's bad on the footy field, but great on the mat, presumably.
It's really hard these days, as you know, with the reportability factor coming into it. So you don't want to get the tackle wrong because you send someone on the sidelines for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Shawnee,
that's true.
what are your thoughts? I dare ask you now. Remember, this is my 5-year-old son. You can come at me any day of the week.
No, I think it's the cutest thing in the world.
There we go.
Ross.
There
When
we go.
my son first started kindergarten, I had to leave here straight after work one day. I was getting calls, wasn't I, Nat?
Yep.
First day in because he was scaling the fence to leave. They couldn't keep him inside
Remember
the
when he
place.
prized the locked door open?
The locked door open somehow and then scaling the fence.
Wow.
His
There we
name's
go.
Ollie too. Something in it.
So well done, Ollie. Kindness trophy.
Congratulations. That's beautiful.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Northbridge or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
Well, we're so lucky to have David Croft, the voice of F1 in the studio. Now, Crofty's been over here a couple of times, doing his show with Karoon, and we've never got to see you in here personally.
And do you know what? This is the best studio. It really is.
Really?
Yeah. It's like warm and comforting and cozy.
We need a few more
smiley.
screens, don't we?
We do need a few more screens. For some reason, I want to go and put some fuel in my car today.
Yeah. Shell Ready Express everywhere.
So many adverts. I'm like a marketing man's dream. I really am.
Oh, no doubt. Hey, Crofty, clearly on the weekend when the Australian Grand Prix was leading up to it, the weather in Melbourne was awesome, right? And a lot of people were talking about how my mates anyway, it hasn't rained here for so long, and geez, we've been so lucky. The weather's been fantastic.
Made up for it on Sunday.
Oh my God, talk us through
Typical
that.
Melbourne, that when you need the weather to be good, it's not.
As I said in the broadcast, Melbourne, 4 seasons in one day. Welcome to winter.
Yeah.
And it went from being Perth-style beautiful to about 16 degrees. And it was cold and wet and damp, and Corinne Chandler got through 3 pairs of socks during the broadcast. And I was all snug in my commentary box, feeling very satisfied with life. But it was horrendous for the drivers because it hadn't rained for so long. The track got really greasy and slippery. We had one driver crash out even before the lights went out, and 14 finished only.
I just felt so sorry for him. Like, that was heartbreaking.
I mean, heartbreak is his first race.
Yes.
He crashes out, he bursts into tears, and then his boss has a go at him for crying when he gets back to the paddock. Now,
Yes, and Lewis Hamilton's dad had to give him a hug.
How beautiful
that was
that?
actually genuinely amazing.
Yeah.
What a gorgeous gesture. And then the boss is like...
Yeah, the boss is like, well, that's just
Stop
so
crying.
embarrassing. Now, I tell you what's embarrassing, someone having a go at someone for crying.
I agree.
We talk about men opening up and
That's
mental
right.
health and everything. I think Dr. Marco should take a long, hard look at his
I
comments.
agree. I
6
agree.
debutantes, and you can imagine how much it would have meant. Your first ever Grand Prix.
I know.
Jack Doohan was saying he'd never driven an F1 car in the rain.
No, and he wouldn't have driven an F2 car much in the rain either, to be fair. I felt really sorry for Jack. He was a passenger, got on the white line, nothing he could do about that. I really felt sorry for Oscar Piastri. I know he's not a debutant, but that race could
There was a lot of expectation.
Have they thrown it into reverse quicker? I mean, there's a lot of people that have thrown out different videos and stuff like that so far since the race has finished.
Yes.
It's not easy to get a Formula One car into reverse. It's not like there's a stick shift and you just press down and put it in reverse.
What do you have to do?
Well, there's a whole complicated procedure involving switches and dials on the steering wheel. And in fact, I thought Oscar had great peace of mind and calmness. Can you imagine? You're second in the race.
Yes.
You're pushing for the lead, and now suddenly you're on the grass.
Everyone's watching.
Yeah, and your wheels are spinning, and it's like, oh my heavens, what's just happened? But I thought he was really calm, obviously because Jeremy Clarkson had told him how to reverse the tractor, and he'd been learning on that one. But he did a brilliant job of doing what Martin Brundle said he had to do, was reverse and treat it like a front-wheel drive car.
Yes.
Otherwise, he'd still be there now. To be honest, he'd never even make it to Shanghai. Absolute cruel luck, because the rain came down just at the wrong time as they were approaching a series of corners that are quite tricky at best of times. And obviously, Max could see it all unfolding because he's the car behind the McLarens. He benefited from that. But, Lando came in, changed his tyres. They got the call right with McLaren. Oscar obviously took a lap to get going again, still came home with some points. McLaren did a super job and have got to be favourites for Shanghai going forward on Sunday.
Crofty, obviously, what's the longest you've had to talk for one of these races, and how do you prepare?
Okay, so the longest ever was 4 hours and 4 minutes, and that was Canada 2011. Which
Why was it so long?
Well, because there were lots of red flags, because of rain delays and crashes, and in those days it could go on that much longer. In fact, I actually had a bet on that race, and I'd completely forgotten. I'd put some money on Jenson Button to win, and he did.
Jenson Button,
and it was like 14-1. It was like the best bet ever. And I was sat with Karuna in the commentary box for so long I'd forgotten I'd had a bet, and I was just cold and tired and my voice had gone, and Kareem went, didn't you ever bet on this? Oh yeah,
you've come
I'm in the money, come on, we're going out to
Exactly.
celebrate, and came alive. So but to prepare, Martin Brundle once told me that there's always something to talk about in Formula One, and there is. And look, if you guys sat in the studio for 4 hours and just talked without any music, you'd find a lot to talk about. And you do your notes, you do your research, you write it all down, and then you just free your mind, and away you go. Just don't ever think too hard about what you're doing. Just
Shaun nails that.
Yeah, let it come to you. I mean, your preparation for the sports bulletin was pretty amazing.
You're blown away.
Yeah, well.
On the weekend, how long did you have to? Because there were lots of delays and things. How long were you on for?
So now we have 3 hours in which the race starts and everything has to be finished by. And if there's
get a result,
and if the clock stops, there's like a 2-hour window within that. But we were on air. I remember looking at the clock before the podium, and we'd already been talking for an hour and 55 minutes. So I'd probably say just over 2 hours we were talking for.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but that's like a Carroon and Crofty show from last night.
So how long were you on for last night?
Yeah, we went on air at 7 and came off at 10:15 and still felt that we had an awful lot to talk about, to be honest.
You said you're having a really, it was great fun.
We had 850 people in the Regal Theatre, and we had no real agenda. It's like, come on, let's just talk about what people want to talk about. And lots of laughs, lots of fun, bit of insight as well, and some interaction. One of my favourite bits of the show is when we get people up to do the commentary competition.
Yes.
And they realise our job is not that easy.
Yeah.
Because we can talk, you can talk for 5 seconds.
Yes.
And then you've got to think, right, okay, what am I going to say next and that? And
also you've got to describe what's actually happening.
Yes, that is very true, which people weren't doing very much in the competition. But yeah, no, we just love Formula One.
Yeah.
And there were 850 people that loved Formula One. And when you get all those people into a room for a night, it's a pretty cool experience. And look, we broadcast to a lot of people on a Sunday, but to do it live in front of people,
when you can see their faces.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, look, today is an absolute blessing. I can see your
faces. You can see our faces. Not quite as good.
Well, no, to be fair, for someone else to get up at 4 a.m. every day, Nats.
Thanks, Crofty.
You are now.
On that compliment, we're going to get Crofty to stick around. We've got to get to the traffic where people are driving at speed, at the correct speed, of course.
At the correct speed, obey the lights at all times.
Just because you can hear David Croft's voice doesn't mean you should be driving
Mate, when the lights go down, you're going to bang it. Come on.
Seriously, if you're near St George's Terrace and the lights are about to go green, it's lights out and away we go.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Crofty, the one thing about the broadcasting team at Sky Sports is when you cross down to the paddock and everyone who's involved, they seem so knowledgeable, but it comes across really easily. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, but that's a real compliment if that's the case. We try our best to cover everything and know everything. You're never going to know everything. Not in Formula One. There's too much secrecy going on. But I do think we have some great characters.
Yeah, you do.
On our team. Ted Kravitz. When Ted Kravitz starts speaking, the world stands still. It's the green light and away we go. And he's just full of theatre and drama.
Yes.
And then Martin Brundle is the doyen of Formula One broadcasting. He's been doing it longer than he was a driver, knows everybody, and that grid walk is something else. Simon, our presenter, Simon Lazenby, holds it all together in a way that only a non-F1 driver could do. He's there to ask the questions, not to have the opinion, same as me as a commentator. But yeah, we try very hard to be your friends in the paddock and bring you into the paddock with kind of fun, humour, knowledge and something a bit different.
Yeah, it works that way.
Can we ask, how did you get into it in the first place? Because you're not coming from it as a driver.
No.
You had no involvement in the sport previously.
Well, once upon a time I was Shawnee, without the battle scars from the
Absolutely.
and I was doing the sport on local radio.
Yeah, right.
And then I kind of...
So how local radio? What are we talking about?
Beds, Herts and Bucks, Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire, Sat and Luton, talking about Luton Town. I mean,
Luton Town. I used to love them in the FA Cup back in the day.
Yeah,
I always picked them as a team to go for.
They had like a giant killing run for quite a few years. They always beat my team, West Ham, so I didn't really like that.
Hammers, come on.
But I didn't want to do that forever. Got into national radio, and then I was in a bar in Vegas in 2005 with some friends of mine, one of who went, you should be an F1 commentator. And I went, oh, shut up.
Did you have any interest in F1 at this point?
Just a little bit.
Like we all do. We will all watch it. We're quite keen on some of the big players and that kind of thing.
I'm very much like yourself. Didn't always watch it, but when I did watch it, I liked it. And I just thought nothing of it. And he repeated it the next day when he'd sobered up. He happened to be the producer of Formula One for the BBC and said, come and audition, have a go. And so I had to make up a lap, opening lap in Monza, I think it was, off the top of my head as my audition, which took me back to when I was just a little lad, kicking a ball around in the backyard, pretending I was a football commentator.
Yes, for sure.
Riding my bike, pretending I was Murray Walker. Yeah. So I just kind of channeled the inner child, which I've been doing quite a bit since, to be fair, and somehow passed the audition. And I'm like, this is brilliant. I'm a Formula One commentator. Knew nothing.
That's amazing.
I spent months and months trying to research to be even a little bit acceptable, and I've spent the last 19 years doing very much the same. It's my 20th year now in F1.
That's
unbelievable.
That is an amazing story. Sometimes it's just about the right person, being in front of the right person at the right time.
I think as well, if I can give anyone...
drinking in Vegas. I don't know what's the takeaway
I think it's drinking in Vegas.
If I can give anyone any advice, go to Vegas, have a drink. You never know what might come of it. But also, just find a way to say yes in life.
Yes.
Don't ever say no. Say yes, and you never know what might come of it.
Crofty, talking about extensive research, I did a little bit on you. Is it true that in a way you were part of a Coachella lineup because of a song you're involved in?
That is extensive research, yes.
Yeah.
IDK.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Go for it.
This is here.
If you want to be a road, the consequences pre-trial. If you want to be a parent.
How did that come about?
Well, he got in touch with me.
Who is, and what's IDK? Do we know what IDK stands for?
I don't.
I don't know.
He's got another name, so I was calling him that. No, he basically got in touch and said, look, I'm doing this concept album and I want to involve Formula One with rapping and kind of bits of jazz elements as well. And is there any chance...
At last.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I'm a massive heavy metal fan. You know, this wasn't my genre at all. And he called me into a studio and we just kind of freestyled a bit. So we did the lights out, but I think he edited that a bit too
tightly.
Sure, a bit too tight. That's the word I'm looking for. Thanks, Nats. It's early. And then we did some like freestyle commentary where once again I had to make some stuff up.
Yes.
So if you go on the album and some of the lyrics are a bit explicit as well, so there's a warning there.
Yep.
Go on the album. There's a lot of my commentary on there, and at the moment I do a lot of live commentary, but then I'm also being asked to make stuff up.
Yeah.
Like for the Formula One game we do it, and for the F1 movie that's coming out as well, where Martin Brundle and myself are doing proper real live commentary to a Hollywood kind of setting,
wow,
which is really cool.
Yeah.
And we said to them, look, don't give us a script, just give us the synopsis.
Yes.
Do you want some water there?
Sean,
Sean's slightly dying. Are you going to be all right?
Give him some Coca-Cola.
Anytime. Just give us a synopsis and we will give you what we give you on air.
Yes.
And if you like it, brilliant. If not, we'll do another take. So when the movie comes out in the summer...
This one with Brad Pitt?
The one with Brad Pitt.
Looks so good.
Martin Brundle and myself are all over it.
Your movie stars as well. Has this ever happened to you where you've had a bit of a coughing fit and not been able to speak when you're in the middle of a race?
Coughing fit and laughing fit.
Yeah.
Laughing fits are the worst. And working...
Because you get the giggles and then you can't stop.
You can't stop, especially when you're working with your mates.
Yeah,
of course.
And you're trying to be really, really serious.
Yeah.
And you're working with your mates and you just know that the minute you look at them, you're going to go again. Anthony Davidson is the worst for this. He is he's a little tinker, is that boy. And will always try and make me laugh. So I get him back as well. What was it? We were in Japan last year. Ted was going on about bees and beehives. Because Sebastian Vettel brought some beehives for everyone to make in the first turn in Suzuka. There was nothing going on tracks. We were talking beehives. And picked up off Ted. I went, thanks, Ted. Brilliant stuff. I said, I got stung by a bee once. It was awful. He went, did you? I went, yeah, 50 quid for a jar of honey. Which is the worst gag going. But Ant found it really funny.
That was the end of him.
That was the end of him, completely.
Yeah, that's so good. All right, we're going to get you to stick around. It's now a hostage situation. David Croft is stuck with us.
It's not every day you come in here.
Barricade the doors.
We're opposite the Regal Theatre. Let me out, please.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Dave, I just said to you before about you get to travel around the world and meet all these amazing people along the journey, and is there a few or that stand out that you've met which is just like, oh my God, I've just met this person.
So you're
they wanted
heroes,
to meet
but
me.
they're excited to meet you.
So I don't do selfies very often.
Yeah.
I've done 3 selfies in my time. One was with Nicole Scherzinger when Lewis won the title. She was
Pussycat Doll.
Pussycat Doll, yeah.
Of course you have to.
She was lonely at the back of the garage. No one was talking to her.
Yeah.
I felt I had to.
You had to.
One was with Vince Neil, the lead singer of Motley Crue, because I'm a big Motley Crue fan. One was with Lars Ulrich, the drummer of Metallica.
wow,
yes.
okay.
Come on.
And
great.
I waited around for that one. But we talked about the F1 movie and Martin and I being in it. I'm the only person in the paddock who hasn't met Brad Pitt yet.
Oh, right.
So we were telling this story on stage last night. I'm like, I haven't met Brad Pitt. My wife has spent a day with Brad Pitt, showing him around and looking after him. But I'm yet to meet him. And Corinne says, well, I've met him. I said, have you? He said, well, yeah, like you. I've been trying to look out for Brad Pitt, but I couldn't see him. And we were at Silverstone and finished the commentary and went to the toilet because, we've been on air for a couple of hours. Mm-hmm. And as I'm standing going for a wee, who should walk in but Brad Pitt?
Into the toilet.
To stand next to Karun.
Midstream.
Midstream. Now, Ross, Shaun.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what it's like. You don't.
You know, eyes straight, eyes
straight
forward,
ahead.
no matter what.
So I did ask Karun on stage, did you look down?
Yeah, a glance.
Got to.
Because it's Brad Pitt, right?
You got
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
He did
to.
it.
You got to.
No, he did, but he didn't want to admit it.
Well, Nats, I think you've seen right through this one, to be fair. So, if you want to see Brad Pitt hang around the toilets,
That's the answer.
that is the answer.
I mean, Shaun has been hanging around the toilets a lot, so...
I have.
How's that working out for you so far?
Well, Ross actually was doing a gig. It was last summer, actually.
Oh yeah,
Ross.
I used a toilet at Kings Park. It was backstage. Dean Lewis is performing. He does a lot of songs. Be all right. And I was told I could use one of these VIP toilets. The only ones anyone can use in this section, big section. A lot of people went in there. Very nice. It's called a VIP toilet.
VIP toilet.
Yep. Came out, just did a wee, by the way. And opened the door. Dean Lewis is standing there. I love Dean Lewis, big fan. And he's stone faced at me, and he's like, "It's not a big deal, but just so you know, that's my toilet." I was
it's not a big deal.
mortified.
Wow.
So I annoyed Dean Lewis by using a toilet.
See, you've made it big in life when you have your own throne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like even Brad Pitt was sharing the toilet. You know what I mean? Dean Lewis, get over yourself,
He's the
please.
man of the people, Brad Pitt. Yeah. You're right.
Man of the people. Hey, Crofty, when you're doing the commentary, do you get fed? Do they bring in food for you? Do they bring in...
Like the waiters with the cloches.
Yeah, halfway through we sit down for a 3-course meal. No, believe it or not, I eat a substantial breakfast with hash browns. Just advice to any hotelier out there: don't deviate from a hash brown at breakfast time. I don't want cubed potatoes. I don't want boiled potatoes, and I don't know what a potato rosti is, but I will have a hash brown. Thank you very much. So I have a bit of breakfast, and then I won't eat until later that evening because I just find if I'm eating beforehand, your mouth's never quite the same.
Yeah, sure.
Right, when you've had something to eat.
Yes.
Broadcasters who eat biscuits and then go on air, I don't know how you do it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I see no biscuits in here. It's a picture of health. So, no, I won't...
athletes.
I won't do any food. Do you have food yourself before you go and do a Dockers game?
Well, I actually had some, the triangle sandwiches that they roll out. They cut the crusts off and all that kind of stuff.
Cut the crust? You are a big deal. If they do that.
Isn't he just?
No, just there. Half of them were soggy, and I was pretty hungover from Saturday night, and I hadn't eaten much in the morning because I wasn't feeling great. So I thought I'd eat that, but I was concerned about that slowing me down.
Yeah. Don't do it. I mean, the fact that you've not got crust probably is okay.
Helps, yeah.
By the way, I know it's only a small thing, but cutting the crust off bread, doesn't it make you feel good?
Makes you feel valued.
It does.
Yeah.
So in Japan, we're going to Japan soon.
Yes.
The sandwiches they sell in 7-Elevens and stuff, no crust on them.
Yeah, that's right.
And my wife was like, "Can you bring some back?" I mean, what do you mean? Can I bring some back?
We called sandwiches. What is she?
Yeah, without crusts on, because she absolutely loves them. And I'm like, "No, darling, just make your own sandwich
and cut the
without
crust off."
Cut the crust off.
No, but they're just so much nicer when someone else
bless
does
her.
it.
Hey, Crofty, have you, Shaun learned a valuable lesson at his first commentary appearance this weekend, just past. Have you done it hungover?
Yes.
Okay, how does that go? And how much, is it something you just do once, or have you not learned your lesson?
To be fair, it is something you do once, and I've never done it while I've been with Sky, but when I was on BBC Radio, we went to see Eminem in concert in Sao Paulo. And we had a brilliant night.
Sao Paulo,
It
wow.
was so good. And I got back to the hotel, and one of the team principals was at the bar, and he said, "Do you fancy a caipirinha?" And I'm like, "Yes," because I'm buzzing, because I've been to a gig. 7 caipirinhas later, it's 5 a.m., and I've got to be up at 7. And I actually fell asleep on the floor of the commentary box in between practice and qualifying.
Wow.
And Anthony Davidson, who was working with me then, actually kicked me so hard because I wouldn't wake up with being shouted at. He was actually kicking me. And I kind of got up, drained a can of Diet Coke, and then went straight on air. But it was painful.
Yeah.
I was commentating at about 20% volume.
Yes.
My head was killing me. Don't do it, guys.
Okay, that's a valuable lesson.
I've written that down.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Northbridge or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
We were in the middle of a conversation. There wasn't even a pause, and that's just straight into, welcome back to Nova 93.7.
So Crofty
Say 26 across Perth.
Yeah, Crofty just said, Ross is very impressive. He knows exactly what's going on. And then it's look over, we've got 4 seconds to go. Bang, straight into it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with these guys. They won't stop until the mics go on. Sometimes, and the things with Shaun, what he's saying like milliseconds before that mic goes red is
it's fraud.
Yes, it is.
It's
You've
fraud
been
with
there,
danger.
mate.
Oh,
You know.
maybe I have.
Have you ever sworn on air?
No. Honestly, for someone, I do swear a little bit off air. I've never done that yet.
Yeah, because
I'm sure there will come a day.
Because things are, happening. Obviously, Oscar Piastri's spinning out and going off.
Exactly.
The rest of the country swore at that moment.
Oh, my God, yes.
So the fact that you don't is testament to how professional you are.
When I was watching the Azerbaijan Grand Prix last year,
Yes.
and Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez crashed, and I was at home on my couch commentating to myself, I did swear then because I could see it coming, and then there was a big exclamation. In fact, very nearly swore on a Ricky, Tim, and Joel show.
Oh, did you? Yeah, right.
We were playing Quick Draw.
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
It was what was it? Name a word beginning with F that you would shout out, and I went, for heaven's sake!
Say.
They were baiting you. That's
They
what
were
was going
baiting
on
me
there.
properly.
Yeah, you nailed it.
I beat her.
Of course you did.
I'm quite pleased about that.
Yeah.
Ricky's really competitive.
She is.
really
Yeah,
good.
that's right.
There
That's
was
right.
daggers across the
Yeah,
table.
yeah.
Crofty, being in the motorsport industry, if you wanted to get your hands on a Ferrari, if you could afford to get one, could you...
Get a staff discount.
Yes. And who can I ring?
Well, as you're sponsored by the fuel provider for Ferrari,
Yeah,
I'm going to
that's
see
right.
them
Yeah,
first,
yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest. You can buy old Formula One cars. In fact, Bernie Eccleston
Yep.
has just sold... part of his car collection. He has others,
Yes.
but there's a lot of cars, and I don't know how many. It's at least 50. Now, it's going to cost you a bit, and
The fuel's going to cost you a bit.
The
I take
fuel's
it.
gonna cost you a
You're
bit.
not putting unleaded in it. I take
You
it.
wouldn't
these are cars from yesteryear and modern day, and
Yeah.
they went for about $500 million.
Oh, my God, Father.
So he had a fire sale. Did he need the money or?
Fire sales, probably not the word. Right words there.
Put it this way, the tax inspectorate in the UK have been asking Mr. E to pay them some money.
Okay, right.
So there might have been a
Did that cover it
coincidence.
or?
I would hope so. I really would.
What's he worth these days?
Bernie, about $500 million more than he was last week. I don't know. Do you know what? Next time I'll ask him.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
Shaun wants to know.
And then I'll come and work with you on the Aussie rules because I won't have a job. Some things are just not worth talking about.
Do any of the drivers these days and teams, do they have their own private planes?
Yeah, Max has just got a new one, actually.
Did he?
Oh.
Yeah, Max
Tell
has
me.
just taken delivery of a new one. Lando Norris flies Max Air, so they kind of go together.
Max there.
But a lot of the drivers kind of club together
Yes.
and they will all go on a private jet
They'll
to certain
carpool.
races. I can understand it, that it is way more convenient and they can all go together and you avoid situations like Alex Albon had at Melbourne Airport yesterday, where I'm led to believe that he was late for his plane and the woman on the tannoy was announcing to the entirety at Melbourne Airport, Alex Albon, your plane is about to depart, please come and get on your plane.
So then everybody knows he's there.
Yeah, not good for an F1 driver to be slow now, is it?
No.
So we won't be taking the mickey out of Alex Albon at all.
No,
when we get to China.
I imagine. Yeah. So Shanghai's next.
Shanghai is next, sprint weekend, so it's a bit of a change around. And then we're home. Then I go to Vegas for a day, as I was saying, which is ridiculous. And then it's Japan and Bahrain and Saudi. And before we know it, we'll be 5 races down and
Yes.
over a fifth of the season will have gone by.
Incredible.
I mean, obviously Australia's a favourite, but what's your second favourite of all of the races?
Okay, it in terms of
I mean, we
racing...
can put a line
You gotta
through
say
Brazil
Silverstone.
after
No.
Sao Paulo.
Silverstone's my favourite.
Yeah.
because
Of course.
it's the home of the
Yes.
F1 World Championship. I think it's the best track,
Yep.
and I love it. Austin is a magnificent race to go to. If anyone is ever thinking about, do I do a big flyaway race, go to Austin.
It's a fun town too,
It's
Austin,
a
isn't it?
sensational
Yeah.
city. If you like beer, if you like steaks, if you like F1 and you love music,
Yep.
Austin's a place to go. There is something about me that, as a lad from Stevenage who didn't, grow up in the finest place in the world, standing on a super yacht in Monaco is quite nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And that's such a
Pretty fun.
classic.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I would never want to see Monaco disappear because
Yes.
Formula One without Monaco, it's like this show without Nathan, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Flourishing. No.
Ross is now looking at me.
Yeah.
You absolute
I'm only
moron.
joking.
No, there's something
need it.
missing if Monaco isn't there, because these cars are not designed to be racing around the streets of Monaco.
Yeah.
Might not be the most exciting race ever, but something can happen in any split second.
Yeah. And we love Monaco because Danny Rick did actually win there.
Well, Mark Webber was very successful all the time there.
Yeah.
Mark Webber was.
Yeah.
It's such a difficult place to pass. If you can muscle your way into the lead, away you go. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
But, Vegas is a great race as well. Brilliant for you guys here in Perth because it's on at a much better time of day.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that there are more and more races now where the dedicated fans of Australia don't have to stay up every night in the middle of the night.
That's a bit of a bonus, isn't it? Yeah, so it's spread through all of the time zones. Yeah,
it's
that's
a world
great.
championship. But on that subject, we should be in Africa. We're not on the African continent. We should be. We are a world championship.
So where
That
do you
needs to
think it would be?
Well,
So
South Africa,
Cape Town or somewhere?
Cape Town wants a street race.
Yep.
Kailami is a Grade 1 circuit. Rwanda have expressed an interest as well. We should be moving heaven and earth to be on the African continent.
Something like Marrakesh would be amazing too, wouldn't it? Could you imagine?
Marrakesh?
Yeah.
I know nothing about Marrakesh.
So Morocco, it's it's an incredible city.
Hippie
it's
vibe.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's the square in Marrakesh will blow your mind, like literal snake charmers and people with monkeys on their heads and everything. It's just got everything. Yeah, bring
People
that on.
with monkeys on their heads. That
is everything.
That is everything now.
It's everything you've ever
We're
wanted.
going to Marrakesh, Nat.
I know, let's bring it on. Crofty, thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's been an
David.
absolute joy having
had a
you, and
great
you are
morning.
welcome anytime. And if you could just continue to give Shaun a bit of feedback about his sports reading, that'd be terrific, and take it on board, I'm sure.
When's your next sports bulletin?
About a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
2
I'll
minutes
do it
from
for
now.
you.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Shaun, what's it like watching a professional do your job?
Amazing. We were
Well
sitting
done.
there with we had our boss Dave who was around, and our big boss BT was in town, and he just told me
He fired
he's
you.
let me go. So
So you work
it's been
there
an
now,
interesting
Crofty.
day.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
Oh, thank you.
And I've got to get on a plane. Shaun, your job's safe.
Shaun does have some feedback for you, though.
Alex Demonor.
Oh, did I get it
How
wrong?
embarrassing. Should have read it beforehand.
I should have read it before. Should have known what I was
Failures
talking about.
feedback.
And he should have been in the top 10, then I'd have heard
He
of it.
should have. He should have.
Exactly. That's
Call
well,
it
he
out.
was, but yeah. In fact, his partner is an English girl.
Really?
So, Katie, tennis player. What's her name?
Don't look at me.
Katie Bolter.
All right.
Oh, well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
How's that
Someone
big,
who
Crofty?
watches tennis.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know,
don't.
tennis. They don't go fast enough.
Exactly.
Crofty, thank you.
It's
you know
been a
you've got a
pleasure.
job here
It's been a
any
pleasure.
day.
Thank
So
you,
we'll
guys.
see you again
It is
soon, I'm
lights
sure.
out and away I go.
Thank you.
Breakfast.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
You were made to meet halfway. Expedia were made to plan where halfway is. Expedia, made to travel.
Auckland, LA, Vegas.
Oh my God.
Nova's Red Room Global Tour, powered by Expedia.
Nova's Red Room.
Let's go.
Let me hear.
Cause I can't go.
It's one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences. We're talking Nova's Red Room Global Tour. It's your boarding pass to see the world's biggest artists up close and personal, all powered by Expedia.
We're kicking things off with an exclusive Nova's Red Room event in Sydney.
And Gracie Abrams live in Auckland, LA to see Dean Lewis. Then Vegas, Jelly Roll, Post Malone. You enter at the Nova Player online, novafm.com.au.
Yeah, Ross, that was a lot. It was a mouthful, wasn't it? Yeah. We have somebody on the line.
We do.
That we've selected off that register, and that is Mariska from Caversham. Hello, Mariska.
Hi.
Mariska, this is very, very exciting. Does anything stand out on you, any of these artists that stands out more than the other?
No, not really. I was just hoping to give my brother the opportunity of a lifetime.
Oh, you take your brother.
That would be amazing.
Okay, where would you be enjoying with your brother? New Zealand, LA, Las Vegas?
Yeah, probably Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, what's
place
not
to
to
do it.
love, to be honest. Well, Mariska, you're officially in the running, okay? Have your phone handy on Friday because Ricky Lee, Tim and Joel could be calling you back to say, hey, guess what? You're off, you and your brother. So good luck.
So, thank you so much.
Awesome.
More chances to get in the draw. You can enter online or via the Nova Player now. Nova's Red Room Global Tour powered by Expedia. It's going off.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
We've just been reflecting on our time with David Croft, and he's left the building and everything, but everyone's just been taken back because he was so generous with his time.
Like, literally, people, the rest of the stuff are coming and going, oh, my God, he's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
He genuinely is. What a generous man.
And we didn't ask him to do the sports report.
No.
He just did it.
put on his glasses and
Well,
got
he just
straight
knew
in
he
there.
could do it better. I think that's what it tastes like.
Sean, you
I'll show
bring
this
something to the table that's only a Shaunism.
Yeah.
Or
Shaunism.
Yeah.
I mean, where would you be with that Shaunism?
And also short shorts.
Then short shorts.
Sean is rocking the short shorts. He
Crofty couldn't do that.
A lot of people commented on Sean's short shorts after he wore them for the Prime Minister. And do you just wear them every second day? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, pretty much going the way. I think I've got 2 in the rotation at the moment because I ripped the other ones right at the crutch when I was in Rotto the other week. Remember
I can't
told you that
wait
one?
till the cooler weather and he starts to wear long pants again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so you don't frighten our guests.
This has been a treat for you guys. You know,
Oh, has it?
Yeah. Okay.
He's got, wait, I'm going to say, for someone who has tiny little legs over here, they,
What you were going to say then?
they often call me Casper because I kind of disappear as I go. Shawnee, epic quads.
Thank you.
Well done.
You should hang around and do more squats with us, Ross.
Yeah, my back's not good for it, though. Lower back.
Can't drop
All
it
I'm
like it's
hearing
hot
is
now. Not like you.
excuses. You're a young man. Come on. Lift.
38.
Yeah.
Bulging disc. Feel older. Hang around you lot.
Bulging what?
Disc.
On that note,
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
we just heard of the news with T. She's been talking about it. The Loch Ness Monster sighting.
So now, when
And I used the word sighting with inverted commas.
when she's been reading that
Yeah.
bulletin a few times this morning,
we
and
haven't
I'm,
talked about it
and,
yet.
and I'm looking at him going, "Are you kidding me?" Now there was some vision on the screen before, so
Yes.
Sunrise has been playing it this morning.
Yes.
What did you see?
It's just a dark shadow under the surface of the water. It's not the body of a monster. And there's no head or anything protruding from the surface.
They've trawled this loch many times before.
Yeah, I've been there, and it is very deep, right? So, but there's a whole museum that's devoted to the Loch Ness Monster, and when you go there, you go, "Oh, it's going to be like super cheesy." It's actually very scientific. So they talk about as you progress through this museum, they go through every theory and debunk it essentially. So everything that's ever happened, all of the scientific, the sonar they've put through, they've done it all, and they're like, yeah, no, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's every thing that's been where somebody said, "Oh, I saw it," they can just go, "Well, that was obviously a log, or that was this, or that was that." They have an explanation for everything.
Did it exist at any stage?
What exist?
The Loch Ness Monster. I mean, it couldn't have been a monster, but not a monster. You know,
The
just
dinosaur itself back in the day, but not at Loch Ness,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, millions of years ago, I'm sure, Sean, there was something.
Yes,
It's
there would have
got a
been.
technical name, right? It's like the Diplodocus of the water. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, you'd be right. And that's
Isn't it?
pretty. I reckon
From
you're
way
pretty
back
accurate.
when, you mean?
Yeah.
I reckon you're pretty accurate there,
But
Ross.
there isn't one in Scotland now.
So why are they bloody bringing these things?
I know.
Why is anyone writing about it? Or
I know. It's like I saw a shadow on the loch, and it's like,
But
come on.
it's exciting. You know, if it is there, which I don't know.
It's not.
But if it is,
It's not.
but if it is.
where do you stand on Bigfoot?
Nah, he's not around, is he? But he, is it?
I want to know why Bigfoot's not called Big Feet. It's got more than 1 foot.
That's true. That's true.
Bad English.
Yeah. Who else is out there?
That's my complaint
Apart
about
from the Loch
Bigfoot.
Ness Monster and, of course, Bigfoot, who else is out there? Is there one more?
Sasquatch? Is that something? Sasquatch?
Yeah, Sasquatch and Bigfoot are essentially the same thing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and a Yeti as well, just different areas.
Yeah.
Is there something in the Billabong? Something that hangs around the Billabong? I feel like there's a book about some monster at a Billabong. No.
Well, that was a song. That was an Aussie song.
No,
Ross.
the Bunyip is what you're thinking of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
And the
the,
Tassie Devil doesn't exist, does it?
Not anymore.
Well, of course it does, but, you know.
No, the
sorry,
Tassie
the
Devil.
tiger. The tiger.
no,
The cartoon.
Okay, the Tasmanian Devil definitely does exist.
Sorry, on Looney Tunes. I should know that one.
That was the thing that they talked about with Warner Brothers because
'Cause
they
they
owned
owned
the
it.
right to it, right, and then there was some problem with the football team coming in calling themselves Tasmanian Devils, and then it explained to Warner Brothers that no, they're an actual animal, and they went, they had to drop the lawsuit. You don't, if it's an actual, you can't own the rights to the name of an actual animal.
Outstanding.
Don't stop them from doing it. Yeah, it's like, it's not just a cartoon, you idiots. All right, Truso, you're up next. Hello.
It does make me laugh that we have cameras that can see
Yes.
the nose hairs in the back of, or the paws on our fingers. But every time they go to the Loch Ness, somehow they take a potato and take a photo on
That's
a potato,
right.
and it's a brown mass. So, look,
You don't
guys,
believe it?
my eyes are open to these things. If there's proof, I'm happy to believe in aliens and all the rest. But you got to show me something more than a Grady photo. Unfortunately, I'm out. I'm out. But We're closed-minded. Maybe
Hey,
that's what it is.
Sam, I know that you absolutely frothed David Croft when he was in the studio.
Yeah, it was fangirling so hard. That'll be up on the podcast later. He was in for like an hour. And
Wasn't he great?
He could have gone longer. He just is such a lovely, lovely speaker and so many stories. You forget that he's been everywhere the drivers have. So he's got just as many stories as them. So
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely unreal, guys. So, catch that on the potty. You guys enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
You too, buddy.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Claremont or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.